Parliament resumes Wednesday by voting and reading 6 bills. Tariq Terrier. 2019-4-8-1045, 1722 read, Baghdad, Euphrates News. The House resumes its regular sessions Wednesday. The agenda of the session includes the voting on the Financial Management Bill, the first reading of the Media and Communications Bill, the first reading of the draft law of the Supreme Iraqi Maritime Authority, and the first reading of the draft law on accession of the Republic of Iraq to the Bank Agreement Asian Infrastructure Investment. It also includes the report and discussion of the Industrial Cities Bill and the report and discussion of the First Amendment Bill of the Act No. 30 of 2011. The meeting would begin at noon.
www.microsoft-translator.com/bv.aspects?refecwalser&b requalsro &mk techwalson -us &d lecwalson &del pecwalser _en == http://3a%2f%2f www.alpharatnews.com%2f. Economic Representative. The government has not yet implemented any service line of the budget. 12:40 August 4, 2019. Information Baghdad. The Parliamentary Economic Committee, on Monday, described the government's work in implementing the 2019 budget as disappointing, noting that the government has not yet implemented any clear service or reform clause. The performance of the government and work in the 2019 budget is disappointing and very weak, said committee member Nada Shaker Jadid in a statement, stating that the government has not launched any service or reform project within the budget. The government's reform program in the economy has become a slogan that cannot be applied in the face of random decision-making, she said. The Iraqi street has become a grouchy because of economic policies, where the names of appointments in the Ministry of Education have not been announced or contracts have been fixed, and the holders of daily wages have been transferred to contracts and other administrative procedures, she said. Inspired/25d https://www.translateoftheweb.com/?from=t=refecwalser&d lecwalson &r requalsuc https://3a%2f%2f www.almalama.com%2f. Al-Rafidain plans to finance large investment projects in Baghdad and the governorates. April 8, 2019 Economy News Baghdad. Al-Rafidain Bank's director Khala Al-Asadi said the bank is in the process of financing a number of service investment projects such as the Baghdad Metro and reviving major factories across the country in coordination with government banks and under the auspices of the central bank, confirming that it has received invitations from various countries to open branches of the bank. The central bank has adopted a project that offers proposals by all government banks such as Al-Rafidain, Al-Rashid and Al-Iraqi for Trade and others to finance vital projects in Baghdad and the governorates, especially investments such as the Baghdad Metro project and its suspended train and the revival and development of cement, glass and chemical plants. Each bank to finance one of these projects and after completion is referred to an investor as an investment opportunity. The bank will finance the Baghdad Metro project and the suspended train through the central bank and then be transferred to investors and return the sums for its benefits, the bank said, adding that the IDB is serious about implementing this project and it was agreed to start it a month ago, especially since the initial cost of completing the metro is 5 trillion dinar. In addition to its participation in the implementation of other projects of approximately 20 in Baghdad and governorates. The bank's activities are not limited to the granting of advances to employees and citizens, but the circumstances that the country is going through have forced it to do so. Where the bank employs 9,204 employees and their salaries are of fixed cost and all expenses of the bank must be collected and worked on as an activity. So recourse is made to the grant of advances, which is one of the fundamentals of draining the economy. The real work of the banks is to provide the facilities and support the investment projects that were initiated by the construction of the electrical architecture plant worth $400 million and a number of recreational sites as a water city, malls, residential complexes and brick factory in Erbil and the revival of factories in the country. The director of Rafidain Bank revealed the intention of the bank to build a number of schools in Baghdad and the governorates according to the plan of the Ministry of Education, where there is a readiness to build 5 schools in each governorate to own in the name of Rafidain Bank and then the Ministry of Education pay the amount in the form of annual rent and the Bank Ministry of Finance approvals. The central bank is currently working to introduce modern technology in banking through the introduction of e-government to the e-government. And the banking system in Mesopotamia is in this direction and will see the beginning of the next month September the launch of 14 branches of e-management in the whole country. As for the branches of the Rafidain Bank outside Iraq,
Al-Assadi asserted that there were 2 branches in Jordan that recently received a letter of thanks and appreciation from the Central Bank of Jordan because they earn the highest profits, as well as branches of the bank in Lebanon, Egypt, Bahrain, UAE and Yemen, and there is an intention to open other branches after completing the banking system and electronic payment, revealing invitations from France, Britain, China, Turkey and Saudi Arabia to open branches in their countries to the Rafidain Bank. http://www.translateofweb.com/mark-equals/&2f Al-Kabi stresses the need to work to restore confidence in banking institutions in general. April 8, 2019 Economy News Baghdad. The first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Hassan Al-Kabi, stressed the need to work to restore confidence in banking institutions in general, calling for greater facilities for granting loans and advances. During his visit to the Iraqi Bank for Trade, the branch of the House of Representatives, and all the Director General of the bank and the Director of its branch in the Council, Fuad al-Wakil, granted the advances and loans offered to employees and the need for reconsideration the controls and conditions accompanying their submission, particularly with regard to the topic sponsorship, benefits and speed of delivery. A number of issues and banking activities have been discussed with the citizen and the state in general, and plans have been adopted to develop the potential of the banking sector, as well as to talk about the issue of settling salaries. The statement said. Al-Kabi stressed the great role played by the banking sector in the economic and social development of the country, and its active contribution to the financing of the various strategic and investment activities needed by Iraq, he said. While stressing the need to restore confidence of banking institutions in general, and the tendency to finance small projects for citizens because of their significant investment and development, as well as the importance of cooperation with commercial and economic banks to benefit the people, the bank and the state. http://www.translateofweb.com/question-refec-also-ampersand-b-requals-ro-ampersand-mk-tech-also_e-n-ampersand-equals http://3a+2f%2f%2economy-news.net%2f Al-Halbousi stresses the need to convert Kuwait's conference grants to projects. Tarek Terrier. 2019-4-8-1145, 164 times read. Baghdad, Euphrates News. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mohammed Al-Halbousi, stressed the need to operationalize the outcomes of the Donors Conference in Kuwait held in February 2018, and work to transform them into projects on the ground. Al-Halbousi met with the delegation of a representative of the Kuwaiti Parliament, Marzouk Al-Ghanim, on the sidelines of the General Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, in Doha, said a statement to the Bureau. During the meeting, we discussed the promotion of bilateral relations between the two countries, the activation of parliamentary diplomacy, and the coordination of Arab positions in international forums and issues of common concern, including the Palestinian question and the situation in the occupied Syrian Golan, as well as the contribution of the international community for reconstruction and stability. Kuwait is interested in the reconstruction of Iraq, its liberated cities and the return of displaced people, he said, calling for continued support in the dossier. Calling on his Kuwaiti counterpart to participate in the parliamentary conference of the neighboring countries of Iraq, which will be held in the capital Baghdad on the 20th of this month. Support the stability Iraq promised to meet the latter http://www.microsoft-translator.com/bv.aspects?mark-refec-also-ampersand-b-requals-ro-ampersand-l-pec-also_underscore e-n-ampersand-2f%2f www.alpharatnews.com%2f National Internet Project promises unprecedented services in Iraq. Tarek Terrier. 2019-4-8-9 978 times read. Baghdad, Euphrates News. The National Internet Project, implemented in cooperation with the Ministry of Communications, has confirmed that it will provide unprecedented services in the country. The official spokesperson for the draft said that, in a press release starting with the second phase of the delivery of services to the homes of the two houses, Mustafa's Dawn was confirms that this kind of time would be 10 times faster than it currently exists. This project, which is being carried out with the Ministry of the agencies and which has been the purpose of the plan for the years 2017 to prevent any further circumstances, has completed the first phase, which included the extension of cables of 4,500 kilometers and the installation of the gates for and the Gulf of Iran, he said. The August was the beginning of the plan, which was the project to extend the optical cable to the United Nations and the experience of the first broadcast in the area of Zayana in preparation for the delivery of the service to the homes. Indicating that the draft was being erected in August and a year ago, the governorates of the Kurdistan region, each of which has been provided with 2,048 homes, as well as 4 million users, in the years to come. Quotation mark. The project is waiting for the necessary resources from the ministries to continue its implementation in the other areas of the capital and governorates, which did not cost the state any sums, but who will receive 80% of the ARBA over 20 years, while ensuring infrastructure, Sawdown said. Local machines and mobile phones can serve 4G and G, and the national cadres of the project can deliver the service to 200,000 homes every 3 months. Stressing that the yearly delay of the project cost the country an estimated loss of $187 million. Quotation mark. With regard to the services provided by this project, it is estimated that the speed will be 10 times higher than that found in the near time, with some 8 cases, including television, transportation, and supporting the resolution of the United Nations and its I am very sorry. The country was recognized as a very small dropout rate and could not be felt by the United Nations because it could be automated to another time until the reform of the original system. And the project's commitment to the full development of the network as a whole. 3. We have been in the world for a few years.